Today, the former racing driver Klaus Niedzwitz will be testing Audi's revamped luxury sedan, the A8. Niedzwitz praises the A8, saying it's the ultimate in luxury. Audi says that a wealth of technological innovations enable this car to do everything better than its predecessor.
Es gibt viele technische Neuerungen. Was das ist, schauen wir mal.
Time for a short history lesson. Audi introduced its V8 in 1988, but in terms of roominess and comfort, it couldn't compete with BMW 7 Series or Mercedes S Series. 6 years later, the first A8 came out, with the world's first aluminum chassis and a serially produced luxury class vehicle. The A8 got air suspension in 2002. The increase in comfort helped Audi to edge out BMW 7 Series in number of vehicles registered in their class, where it was second only to Mercedes S Series. At the end of 2011, the newest generation of A8s was launched with a facelift. There is even a 12-cylinder engine model conceived for the Russian and Chinese markets. Audi has focused a lot of attention on developing the headlight system.
Das ist ein Scheinwerfer, der über dauerhaftes Fernlichtfahren funktioniert.
Veronica Staringer of Audi explains the A8's automatic bright lights function. The high beams aren't operated manually, she says. Instead, they are electronically controlled. Individual LED elements turn on or off sequentially to automatically protect the eyes of oncoming drivers. The blinkers have changed too. A panel of LEDs light up the sequence to point in the turning direction. We tested the new luxury sedan in the sporty S8 version. With 4 liters of engine displacement, the 8-cylinder gasoline engine produces 382 kilowatts and a whopping maximum torque of 650 Newton meters. The S8 rockets from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.1 seconds. Maximum speed is 250 kilometers an hour. The manufacturer rates the car's fuel consumption at 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers, but that demands skillfully restrained driving. Cylinder on demand contributes to fuel thrift. If power needs are low, the engine uses only 4 of its 8 cylinders. The S8's chassis is 10 centimeters lower than in the normal A8. Klaus Niedzwitz is impressed that the A8's big engine is so quiet at any speed. The interior is luxurious. Materials and workmanship are lavish, with the controls conveniently arranged. And now, the test continues.
Und auch die Schalter und Instrumente sind am richtigen Ort. Also, so, und jetzt geht's weiter.
The variety of materials adds to the interior's deluxe feel. The broad central console stands out. It clearly separates the driver from the front seat passenger. An 8-speed Tiptronic automatically controls the S8's transmission. The leather seats are electronically adjusted to fit the needs and preferences of driver and passengers. Klaus Niedzwitz sums up, the Audi S8 is a very sporty luxury sedan. He has no complaints about the engine's power, the chassis, or the brakes. He says he's tempted to take the S8 onto the racetrack for a lap. Everything is so top-notch, except the price, which could be a little lower. The S8's base price was 114,700 euros in Germany, making it exactly 40,000 euros more expensive than the basic A8 model. But it still costs 35,000 euros less than the sporty AMG Mercedes S-Class. Kia plans to introduce its first fully electric car to the market in the second half of 2014. The Soul EV will fundamentally resemble its gasoline-powered sibling, but it will have its own design. Its range between charges will be 200 kilometers, and an 81-kilowatt engine with 285 newton-meters of torque will make it fun to drive. Renewable energy is on a roll in the auto industry. One of the pioneers is SEAT, with its project SEAT Al Sol. The manufacturer has mounted 53,000 solar panels on the roof of its Martorell plant. That's the equivalent of 40 football fields and means avoiding 7,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Mercedes recently brought out a new mid-range coupe sedan. The CLA 200 is large and sporty, like its big brother, the CLS, a four-door coupe. Our test driver Matas Kurat took a closer look at the CLA 200. Matas says Mercedes always calls the CLA a mid-range coupe sedan, but it actually builds on Daimler's compact series, the A-Class. Matas is going to see how well it fits the mid-range category. The car's big grille has mean-looking headlights and large air intakes. Graceful lines flow together everywhere, underscoring the car's dynamism. Nothing here seems out of place. The streamlined rear has a dual exhaust and a well-concealed rear-view camera. But inside, our tester finds one incongruent detail. He likes the dashboard and all the instruments. The language of shape, the vents, the materials used are all lovely. But the display in the middle of the dash for the radio, entertainment system, and navigation sticks out like a sore thumb. Matas is sure this could have been better integrated.
Das gefällt mir überhaupt nicht. Da gibt's doch bestimmt irgendeine andere Möglichkeit, sowas zu integrieren.
The interior design is very reminiscent of Mercedes' SLS. The steering wheel, speedometer, and decorative elements all have a sporty feel. The design is clearly structured, except for the myriad buttons on the curvy central console. It's a luxurious ride up front, but what about the back seats?
Auf der Rückbank
Matas says the back seat shows that the car is based on the A-Class, and the coupe-like roofline means the back seats aren't comfortable for tall passengers. At least there's lots of room for luggage. Matas says the CLA's 470-liter trunk really is mid-range level. It's only 5 liters smaller than the C-Class. For more sportiness in the CLA, you can spend an extra 2,000 euros for the speed shift transmission. Our test driver is pleased overall with the CLA. The CLA's handling really pleases Matas, who says the car hugs the road, and you don't even notice that it's a front-wheel drive. That's because the power steering reduces the typical front-wheel drive feel. Our test car's 115 kilowatts of power accelerated to a maximum of 230 kilometers an hour. Its Eco Start-Stop automatic optimizes fuel consumption in city traffic. Matas Kurat summary. Mercedes has really done a good job of avoiding confusing the CLA and the C-Class. The CLAs and C have smaller engines. Those with the same names are simply a bit less powerful, except for the C200 CDI and the CLA 200 CDI, which have the same push. The two series are geared to different people. The C-Class is the sensible car, the more versatile one, but also a little more expensive. The difference in price is between 2,000 and 5,000 euros. euros, depending on the engine size. The CLA, in contrast, is more for the lifestyle-oriented buyer who plans to drive alone.
Der eher alleine fährt als mit einem vollen Auto.
The urban variant of our test car with a 7-speed automatic transmission costs 37,890 euros in Germany. The basic model is available for 6,000 euros less. Opel's Black Widow. In the late 1960s, it spread fear and awe on German racetracks. Now, it's back. It was a resurrected Opel Rekord in racing gear, black, broad, and brawny. Opel and racing fans may remember the legendary car from more than 40 years ago. Here, the replica heads out for its first drive. The Rekord C was the epitome of middle-class life, white bread on wheels, and suddenly the ordinary family car was leaving Porsches in the dust. And racing greats like Eric Bitter and a young Niki Lauda were in the driver's seat. The recreated Black Widow takes to the asphalt of the handling course at Opel's Dudenhofen Test Center. The modified engine has to be run in before it'll show what it can do. Opel's first post-war racing car was built in Rüsselsheim in 1967 without GM's approval. It was a creation of Opel designer Anatoly Lapine. After a few successes on the track, the Black Widow mysteriously vanished. Now, Opel Classic's Jens Cooper has built a replica of the original. He says the first step was getting photos from Anatoly Lapine himself. Hardly any other information was available, not from the archive nor private sources, but Lapine provided a flood of information.
Und dann hatten wir auf einen Schlag eine Flut von Informationen.
Lapine personally drew up the rear axle design on a Meals on Wheels menu. Opel's Classics department gave the go-ahead, and Jens found a 1966 Opel Rekord to serve as the basis. Many of the Black Widow's components had been custom-made, and to make the replica as true to the original as possible, they had to be made again. The project took 3 years. In 1967, a 180 horsepower engine in a 900 kilo car produced a sensational power-to-weight ratio, especially for a dowdy Opel sedan. And for the time, it handled like a champion. Mag wheels and the special rear axle design played their part too. A counter-flow head was put on the Opel 4-cylinder engine to increase performance. Jens Cooper explains that it had specially cast manifolds and dual Weber 2-barrel carburetors and a special camshaft to give it more oomph. With the special intake manifold, it had double the performance of a normal Rekord. It would be hard to tell the replica from the original if the original Black Widow could be found. Team leader Kirk Bagman, a former Opel dealer and racing legend in his own right, was looking after the car during the time Niki Lauda was driving it. He remembers the car was in the courtyard without its engine. They had been on the Formula 5 circuit in Europe and suddenly the car vanished. To this day, nobody knows if it was stolen or what exactly happened to it. The Black Widow's mysterious disappearance makes its resurrection all the more dramatic. Now its fans are hoping the replica will be making the rounds at classic car shows and giving its contemporaries a run for their money, just like the original once did.